Doing today? My name is David Gugino, and in today's book review, I have a very good book, and the book that I have for us today is another re-review. Hi, how are we all doing today? My name is David Gugino, and for today's book review, I have another re-review. I've got two new books coming in that I'm going to try to power through that I really enjoy and ready to read. One of them is a money book, and another one is a book about bodybuilding. Read those and get those to you guys. But now, the book that I have for us today for a re-review is The G Code by Ryan Stewman. Now, Ryan Stewman is set out to become the most elite version of himself after collecting a list of setbacks that are almost as impressive as his accomplishments. His success, he says, can be contributed to following the G Code, which is like gratefulness, group, and I might say something in here about it. I'm trying to find it on the back here, but the invisible algorithm called the force of average controls this planet. It has one weapon that it uses against us on a daily basis: distraction. The way to fight the FOA and its weapon of mass destruction is with a human superpower that exists in us all. That superpower is focus. When you focus and get in the zone, the impossible becomes possible. This book will guide you on the path to developing extreme focus and fighting the force of average in your life. What you focus on becomes reality, and this book teaches you to focus on what you want, not what life deals your way. So that is what the G Code, that's the purpose of the G Code, and I love what he says here: force of average, weapons of mass destruction. Think of how specific that is. That's amazing. But we're going to dive into the book here. This is the beginning, and what I really should do when I film these, when I do re-reviews, is probably film, like, this is the first 4 pages of the book, and that's what I might do later in the future. But listen to what the G Code has to say here about what happens in life. Listen to this. It doesn't matter what happens in your life during that time. You will learn from it, and you will take what you've learned and turn it into a value. That means that until something dramatic happens in your life, be it divorce, a health scare, a penitentiary stint, facing court, or something else drastic in nature, you will never rewire the way of thinking that took root in you between those ages, unless you are exposed to a new way of thinking through a disruptive event in your life. You will keep living the same values you developed between the ages of 3 and 7. Even as you mature, you will not change. Even though being such a young kid was so long ago, my goal is to make the moment you picked up this book the moment your rewiring began. When you hold this book, and I want you to feel the change that can improve and affect your life. When you feel this change, it will cause you to think bigger, and that will cause you to change your mindset. That's the point of this book. It's the catalyst you've been looking for. The information in the coming chapters will change the game. It will unlock the doors to your mind just the way it unlocked the doors to mine. The mind is great because it's like a combination lock. So I really like what he mentioned right there. No matter what happens in your life during that time, you will learn from it, and you will take what you've learned and turn it into a value. So for example, like distractions, when you get used to your distractions, when you have that perfect balance in between your distractions, like watching movies or flipping through your phone, you're going to be like, wow, I used to spend hours on my phone, now I spend 30 minutes a day on my phone. And you're going to turn that into value. Now you might think, well gee, I wasted all of this time, but honestly, when you learn from your mistakes, it's hard to beat learning from your mistakes. That is a dopamine hit unlike no other, learning from your mistakes, and actually valuing the mistake that the Lord put in your life, and put that in your life so you can change. Do you ever think about that? Everything happens for a reason, and maybe the Lord gave you this mistake or gave you this struggle because He knew you could overcome it. And then when you overcome it, like I said, that's a great dopamine hit. That's like so amazing, learning from your mistakes and taking value from it. Rewire the way of thinking that took root in between those ages, unless you are exposed to a new way of thinking through a destructive event in your life. And that does happen, but your way of thinking should change in a good way as the years go on. As in, only downfalls happen when something disruptive happens in your life. Or downfalls, you hear stories of people having these downfalls in their lives by their own 2 hands. So that's why I really try to influence making good choices and Basically not doing what others tell you to do, like partying and drinking. You don't have to do that stuff. Now you can have that balance, but you don't have to do it every night. But when dramatic happens in your life, be it a divorce, healthcare, penitentiary stint, facing court, or something else drastic in nature, you will never rewire the way of the thinking that took root in between those ages. So stuff like that, your thinking should not change even after some traumatic events in life. Now they may be sad, but your thinking should not change. So think about that. Now the second part that I have for this book review for us today is, let me see here. The second part I have for us today in the G Code is about completion. And not only that, but completion as in focusing on the task at hand when you are going through stuff. So listen to what Ryan Stewman has to say here. Listen to this. For now, let's get back to the topic of focus. So many people have been told at a young age that they can't focus. They have been diagnosed with ADD and other attention or learning disorders. But the truth is, we all have it within us to focus. We just have to take a few extra supplements to help us out, and we have to flex that focus muscle for 5 minutes every single day. When you take these measures, they add up. You become more determined when you push your power to focus. Then your focus transforms into resolve, and your resolve helps you see your mission through to completion. Most people won't focus on one task and complete it because they're scared of completion. They're afraid that what they are making is going to suck. If I create an offer or product and present it to the public and they tell me that it sucks by not buying it, I have to deal with those consequences. I need to decide if I'm going to keep working on it, trying to make it better, or if I'm going to believe the marketplace that's telling me that I have a terrible product. This is another reason why most people are so distracted by so many things at once. They're scared to finish one thing because of their fear of judgment. It's easier and less painful to turn their efforts to their next project, but part of being focused on what you need to do is finishing the task you started. If the marketplace doesn't like it, don't just start something else, tweak your original product and make it better. Use the feedback to your benefit. Plenty of today's products are amazing, but they didn't start that way. They had to be improved upon before anyone paid them any positive attention. Amazon is a prime example. Amazon started off selling books, but we all know that compared to marketplace consumers as a whole, there are not that many people that buy books. Jeff Bezos saw that there was an opportunity to do more than sell books. He also saw that the market wanted more. So he went back to the drawing board and made improvements until the Goliath that is today's Amazon was born. If it's true that when you tweak a product to make it right, the world would judge you. This is going to happen no matter what you decide to do. But it doesn't matter. Your job is to stay focused no matter what. That's a lot of reading, but they're scared to finish one thing because of their fear of judgment. It's easier and less painful to turn their efforts to the next product. Most people won't focus on one task and complete it because they're scared of completion. So, like, being scared of completion, if you're cleaning something, like at your job, or you're cleaning around your home, or like when I was little, I had to clean the bathroom a lot, I was scared of completion because I know that my father was going to point out a whole bunch of different things that I did not do on the bathroom, and then I have to spend another hour cleaning it again, and then another hour continuing to clean it again. And you're probably wondering, well, that's when you were a child. But if you really think about it, life can be like that. Life can be, well, I want you to change this, I want you to change that. And that's why when it comes like to singing or acting or even running a business, people critique something, you're like, well, you know what? I'm going to change this and I'm going to change that. And you got to think, though, being scared of completion is such a normal thing. Such a normal thing. It is like, it's not like terrifying, but it's like when you are running a business or trying to pursue something that not a lot of people have faith in you that you can do, completion can be scary. It just can be. And then tweaking a product, if you have to tweak something, don't be scared to tweak it. Now, the thing that you should fear is you having a huge ego, being like, nope, I don't have to tweak it, I'm going to keep it the way I want it. Then that's going to be a problem. That means you need to change your attitude and figure out what you need to do. Because like if a financial advisor told me to spend less money because I'm going broke, I'm going to be like, no, I don't need to spend less. But I could be like, no, I'm not going to spend less money. That's not the problem at all. Well, you have a licensed financial advisor showing you the numbers and the evidence that you need to spend less money. Whereas, if you are starting a business, people will show you evidence as to why your thing is not working. Or, even show you examples. This muscle every single day. Honestly, if you take 5 to 10 minutes to study something, or even 30 minutes to study something and learn something, that's flexing your focus muscle. And focus muscle as in, I have ADD myself and I have medication for it, but I make sure to really focus and try to learn something almost every day. And even at my job, I try to focus and try to learn at my job every time I'm there. Because for one, what else do I have to do? What else do I got going on? And for two, you have to learn. You have to have the ability and have to have the want to learn every day, or else you're going to be the same. So think about that. The third and final part to Ryan Stewman's The G Code is about perfect balance. Now, this perfect balance section, in my opinion, is very interesting. But listen to what he has to say here about this perfect balance of something. Listen to this. Not all struggles are created equally. I want you to work on thinking that the struggles that you went through, the things that held you back, and any other trying instances that took place in the past are not unique. They feel devastating to you, but at some point, and even right now, somewhere on the planet, someone's overcoming that same. You might think your problems are huge, but someone is alive right now who thinks they're small. When you think of life and your problems in this way, it puts everything in perspective. You're going to think forward and not backward in this chapter. You're going to forgive yourself by the time this chapter is over. You're going to reach a point where you will forgive yourself when you can do this. You can move on and focus on being great. We've already established that you get what you focus on if you keep focusing on the struggles of the past and how you got to where you are now, but not on how you're going to get where you want to go. You will continue to be in limbo. If you keep thinking in this way, you'll never break through that pattern. Crap happens to all of us. Nobody's walking around with an ideal life. No one's life is clean. You don't know what the people who fly private jets, drive Lamborghinis, and live what seems to be the living dream on social media go home at the end of the night. You don't know what happened 1 second after a picture that took Instagram perfect was snapped. You certainly can't judge people according to what they put on social media. We have to focus on the fact that crap happens to everyone else and us. Then we've got to get past it. Before you can get past what has happened, you have to forgive yourself. This is a similar process to what you would go through as a member of a program like Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, or any kind of addict program. The first thing you have to do is forgive yourself. I'm a firm believer in forgiving yourself. If you don't take responsibility and get over it, you can't move on to what's next. Think about having the perfect balance between being grateful for what you have while still being in pursuit of what you want. To track what you need, you have to forgive yourself so you can feel grateful for what you have. Believe it or not, what you want is all connected to this mindset. Oftentimes, we think we don't deserve the good stuff that happens to us, even though we worked for it. We earn money, and then we end up spending it on blow and all sorts of stupid crap because we don't feel like we deserve it. We haven't forgiven ourselves for our past yet. When we don't forgive ourselves, it breeds resentment. This leads to us feeling like we don't deserve what we've worked for, and we end up working hard to get rid of what we've acquired. The perfect balance between being grateful for what you have while still being in pursuit of what you want. So, how I view this perfect balance is if you are struggling, have the perfect balance in thinking of your struggles whilst thinking about what you're grateful for and how you're going to overcome those struggles. Because you can't just be thinking about your struggles all the time. Like, you can't be. I don't care what you say or what you do, you cannot be thinking about your struggles all the time. You just can't be. So, how I view this is all connected to this mindset. The mindset of like, we don't deserve this stuff, but I'm very grateful and thankful that I have it, and I'm going to do whatever I can, not only to continue to get this stuff, but to pursue being grateful and thankful no matter what life throws at me. Because some days you want to blame God, some days you want to blame the world, some days you want to even blame your friends for things that are happening in your life, but you can't be like that because it's nobody else's fault but yours. Now, obviously when I say it's your fault, it doesn't mean it's totally your fault, but as in everything that's happening in your life right now, it's just a you thing. It is what you're going through and nobody else is to blame. And then not all struggles are created equally. I think about that a lot because there are some people who think their lives are so horrible, but then look at somebody else's life and that is much worse than theirs, and they still think that their life is horrible. But in reality, your life is not that bad compared to other people's. It's not. And how you view that is focusing on struggles of the past, how you got to where you are now, but not how you're going to get out where you want to go. You'll continue to be in the limbo. You don't want to be repeating the process. You don't want to be going in circles, just going back and forth. You just do not want to do that. And I like what he says here. Before you can get past what has happened, you have to forgive yourself. And it's like with addicts, they have to forgive themselves for giving themselves that road. We have to forgive themselves for making those choices. And forgiving yourself is huge. A lot of people do not think about it, but forgiving yourself from the past choices you made and you choosing to change is a really big deal. It really is. But giving yourself the perfect balance, the focus muscle, and what's just happening in your life right now. Speaking of all of that, I'm going to close out this book review. And the takeaway for this video is really think about that. Your struggles are not created equal. Plant that in your head and have the perfect balance into thinking about your struggles and even your past and how you're going to fix your past for a brighter future. So think about that. This is the G Code by Ryan Stewman. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a great day, and I hope you all work hard today. Thank you.